Hi everyone, welcome to Coffee and Card. So this is the second week of our month using the Christmas Scottie stamp set, which is this stamp set here, and the matching Scottie Dog punch that goes with it. And today, as you can see, we're creating tartan Scottie Dogs. So obviously it has to be done, and Christmas to me always feels like tartan is appropriate. So we're creating three different kind of looks, because we're going for green, red, and then one here that uses the green and red, and then an extra little feature which I'm going to show you how to do in a minute. So you're going to need, first of all, a card base which is C6 size, so that's half of an A4 sheet cut at 14.8 centimeters and then scored at 10.5 centimeters. And I'm just going to burnish my fold on my card, and this card base is Crumb Cake. Obviously you could use different colours if you wanted to. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp my sentiments down the side. So I'm using the Merry Christmas sentiment and real red ink, and it fits really nicely actually if you can line it up at the top of your card. So just going to start by making sure that the top of my stamp is in line with the top of the card, and the edge next to the S is also in line at the side. And then when I stamp my next one, I'm going to get the sentiment lined up with the one that I've just done, so the top is kind of in line with what's already there. I'm just going to go all the way down. If you wanted to, you could alternate colours and go red, green, but this is definitely the quickest way, and especially if you need to be doing a few. Now I must have had my spacing slightly different on this one, because on my other one I managed to get it so that my last sentiment fitted on completely, but if you end up the same like that, then don't worry, it should be absolutely fine. And then I have got a piece of white, basic white cardstock, which measures the length of the card, so that's 14.8 centimeters, and it's 6 centimeters wide. And I'm just going to put that at the side. You could go right up to sort of like the spine of the card if you wanted to, but I quite liked having a little bit of the card showing on that side. So I'm just going to put some Tombow on that. I'm going to line it up on my grid paper to help me to get it straight. And if you want to leave a gap, it's about the equivalent of a square, which is about ½ centimetre. There we go. So we're going to put that to the side for the moment. We're going to do our Scottie Dogs. So I've got a scrap of card here, and what we're going to do first of all is we're going to stamp using the tartan background stamp. And then we're going to punch out our dogs from this and give it a firm press down. Now, if you've ended up having what I've got there, I think sometimes the stamp is not always stamping perfectly. So you can use your, if you've got a paper piercing mat, you might find that it stamps a little bit better. So I'm just going to, actually, one thing to do if you get this situation, because you can see I've got a blob there, sorry I'm not in shot, that's not kind of coming off of the ink pad. So I'm just going to take my stamp off again, and I'm just going to put it on the block again. Sometimes just by repositioning it, it can just make a difference. I'm just going to stamp it on here again, and then I'll do a test one. So just double check that it's all inked properly. And that stamped better that time. So I think sometimes just repositioning the stamp can sometimes just help. So let's go for another one. I'll turn my card over. Using my paper piercing mat this time. Sometimes again that helps just to give a better image, and that's much better now. So I'm not happy with that. So I've done one in red, and then I'm going to do two in green. So I've got Old Olive for this. So again, gentle taps, make sure your stamp is well inked. I have just re-inked this, so it is quite wet. Okay, and then another one in the Old Olive. Go. And then just to make a slight variation with the tartan, on this card I've actually used a red marker pen to add the lines to give it a different effect. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. I'll move my pad out of the way. So you'll see that on our green pattern you've got some thick lines running horizontally and vertically. What we're going to do is we're going to line up our ruler with those, and then using the thick end of a real red marker pen I'm just going to go along that line. So it does take a little bit of time, but you'll see it starts to create that kind of tartan look, because you're getting the green plus you're getting the little white gap, and then you're now also getting the red line. So just going to go all the way down on that one. And then you could just leave it like that if you wanted to. But if you wanted it how I did it, I turned mine again. And I went over this way now. Okay, that's the last one. Okay, so once we've done that, we can now start to punch out our Scottie dogs. So I'm going to punch out one from each colour, and the nice thing about it is you will also get a bow in the same colour. So you'll have a red dog and a red bow. And then next I have a green dog with a green bow. And then finally, for my new tartan that I've just designed, I have one of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap my bows around so that I have a different colour with each one. Actually, I might swap the red with that one, a bit more visible. And then we're just going to get those stuck onto our card base now. So I'm using Tombow to stick the dogs down, but you could use dimensionals if you wanted to raise them up. And I'm just sticking down my first one at the bottom so I can get that positioned correctly. And then I'm actually going to swap them around. I'm going to put my red one in the middle. So actually I'm going to stick my green one on the top first, because then hopefully I can figure out what spacing I need for the one in the middle. And the nice thing about this card is you could come up with lots of different colours and patterns. You could use DSP if you wanted to make it a bit quicker. But there's lots of options. And obviously lots of different sentiments you could use as well. And then I'm just going to stick the bows on with some dimensionals. Oh, just make sure I've got the correct side. Oh, actually it doesn't matter on either of those. It's the one that I re-stamped. And the normal sized dimensionals should just fit perfectly in the centre of that bow, so you just need one. And I have just realised that I've got my bows the wrong way round, which is not very helpful. So what I might actually do is I don't know if I can get that off. I might actually re-stamp that one, and I'll put that on at the end rather than doing it now. But you get the idea anyway. And then the very last thing to do is we're just going to use some gems or some pearls. And I'm going to take a black Sharpie or a black Stampin' blend. I'm going to colour those in. These are going to be our eyes on our dogs. And then I'm just going to pop those on. So that my little Scottie dog has an eye. And then apart from my bow accident, that is finished then. So hopefully that has given you a bit of an idea how to create that card. And I'll just bring those two back in just so you can just see both of those. So a quick recap of what we've used. We've used the Christmas Scottie bundle to create them. We've used real red and old olive inks, and we've used a Crumb Cake C6 card base with a rectangle of basic white measuring 14.8 centimeters by 6 centimeters, and then another scrap to create our Scottie dogs, and finished it off with sticking our Scottie dogs on with Tombow and some dimensionals, and then a little black coloured gemstone or pearl for the eye. So if you need any help with that, please let me know. If you'd like to order anything from what you've seen today, then again, please contact me and I can add that onto an order for you, or you can place an order yourself directly on the stampinup.uk website, and you can search for me, Claire Humphreys, as a demonstrator. So next week we'll be back again with the Scottie dog bundle, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week. Bye.